Okay, tonight we want to talk about the coronavirus, which is affecting every single human being and then some. If there were any aliens that were on the planet, it'd be affecting them as well. I mean, you can't go anywhere today without seeing, you turn on the television, you have the governor speaking, you have this doctor, that doctor. There's a big dilemma, Bill, and you were having a discussion on Facebook with this very big dilemma, and that is like, what is too much and what is not enough as far as taking precautions and stuff. And I think you had a really good dialogue with somebody. How did that turn out?
Well, it was one of the strangest conversations I ever had in my life, Joe. It started out with an article by an opinion piece by Bishop Athanasius Schneider talking about what do we do when we have to go on living without the Mass. Uh, we got way out in the weeds. We were throwing out phrases like hypostatic union and Nestorianism. And finally, I just said to her, whoa, half the people that are watching this don't even know what we're talking about anymore. So if we're going to talk about this, let's do it in private. But the general positions were, and this person has a bit of a medical background. So that's where the conflict is
Right,
coming
right, a
in.
doctor. So if you've talked to anybody in the medical field, I think that they always, in my opinion, are kind of erring on the side of caution. But go ahead. What did she say?
Well, it was the idea of, being responsible and social distancing and all the stuff that we've heard, ad infinitum over the last several weeks, versus my position, which is somewhat different. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not advocating for being careful and exercising social distancing. However, my position is not at the expense of the sacraments, which are just absolutely paramount for us as Catholics. There must be a way for us to still participate in these things while still
Right.
practicing, safety.
Right. Okay. So the mass itself, the mass has been cut down. There is no mass. There is no Holy Week. There is no Eucharist. There is no funerals. If you die now, you're in trouble because nobody's going to come to your funeral. You're not allowed to have that. If you get married, they don't want you to celebrate it now. Wait until this whole thing passes and that. But the biggest problem I have is with the church right now. Is with we are we doing the right thing shutting down the masses? You would think that there would be a way that we could, like, maybe have more masses, fewer people coming to it. There's got to be a way. Where is the bravery, the chivalry? When we go back in time to the apostles and or you don't even have to go that far back. It was the clergy who were always the first ones in the battlefield. Now it seems like the clergy are the ones who want to just hide and cover, to get away from
Right,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, St. Charles Borromeo is a great example of that. I mean, he wasn't reckless. He did practice uh, the relations of the secular government in his day, but he did find a way to have outdoor masses where, infected people were quarantined, or everybody was kept at a distance. He walked the streets with the Holy Eucharist, so that people from their houses while they were quarantined, they could at least engage in some form of Eucharistic adoration. So there is a way, and that's what I'm hoping for, is
Yeah.
some possible middle, a third option there, as opposed to you either shut it all down or you let everybody in. Well, neither one really works.
Right. So we have a website that we got a little bit of information on, Bishop Athanasian Snyder, and he was talking about how you can get along with this coronavirus and what you can do as a family and stuff like that. I think I was telling you earlier, reading that, it just seemed a little bit far fetched. I can't see too many families right now with the state that we're in. Sitting around saying the rosary, doing a spiritual communion, a spiritual act of contrition. Um, college kids that are home right now, they're bored. They got the iPods in their ears and stuff like that. They don't pray. It just seemed a little far fetched. Yeah, if you've got that in your family, God bless you. But we need this on Sunday. I mean, Sundays are just it's the Lord's day, and we need it. We need it so very, very much. But I want to ask you one last thing here too, real quick. And you had you had a reference to the end times, and I thought it was pretty interesting there in the Catechism. Do you mind just sharing with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be clear for everybody that's watching at home, I'm not saying we are in the end times. I'm just saying that this sounds somewhat reminiscent of this. This is number 675 from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. That would be the 1994 version. And it says, quote, "Before Christ's second coming, the church must pass through a final trial that will shake the faith of many believers. The persecution that accompanies her pilgrimage on earth will unveil the mystery of iniquity in the form of a religious deception, offering men an apparent solution to their problems at the price of apostasy from the truth. The supreme religious deception is that of the Antichrist, a pseudo-messianism by which man glorifies himself in the place of God and of his Messiah come in the flesh," unquote.
Mm-hmm. Right, and a lot of that where you're talking about man glorifying himself is just scientific knowledge over the faith. It's we really don't have a strong spiritual. It reminds me when Jesus said, he says, "When I come back, do you think I'm going to find any faith on the earth?" There's going to be plenty of science. There's going to be plenty of scientific textbooks and everything, but the Bible itself, gets thrown to the side. So that's something to think about. And we can look deeper into that on the next episode and stuff. These are indeed strange times. But for tonight, I want to say good night and God bless everybody. If you want to add something, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want everybody to remember that even though it's all sounds like doom and gloom right now, remember that not a sparrow falls to this earth without God's permission. And this is not happening by accident. It's not some fluke of nature. It is permitted by him for a reason. Remember that.
Right. And so eventually we'll figure that reason out. God will reveal it. Okay. Thanks again, Bill, and God bless. And we will talk to you very soon. Thanks.